Snap!
Hello, I'm Justin.
And I'm Dave. Ish. Maybe. Depends on how this video turns out.
This is my special guest.
How you guys doing today?
We're going to talk about some politics.
Yep, unfortunately. Go ahead, Justin, interview me. I'm your special guest.
Alright. So, what's your view of current events?
Current events. Well, I try to stay as far away from the media as possible by being involved and leading, being one of the leading voices in media. I think that's the best way to, instead of following trends, you got to start them, Justin, I think. And that's why I wear sunglasses indoors. It makes people know that I am a very serious and important person. So, yeah, and I think when it comes to political views, I answer a lot of questions like Trump does. I don't give you a definite answer, but I tell you what you want to hear.
Okay.
So you obviously take a very a big stance on a lot of these things when it comes to politics.
Yeah.
And you stand by what you believe, and I appreciate that. Are you ever open to? You're a conservative.
Yes.
So, yeah. Are you ever open to opposing views? Because where I come from in my line of work, which I can't talk about because the government doesn't allow me to, but in my line of work, it's very difficult to talk about the stances that you have. Mm-hmm. You have to kind of be a little more neutral. You kind of have, because you deal with people, and when you deal with people, and you want to help people, growing closer to God, growing closer to obviously a relationship with Him and with each other. You can't exactly just say, because political things kind of get messy. You kind of get to a point where it's like, obviously, trying to think of the words here, but you can't take certain stances necessarily that are just opinion based. And I want to say that because because a lot of things aren't like I'm pro-life. I think that lines up with the Bible. Other people say that they have verses that are pro-choice. I would challenge their biblical view on that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but I appreciate that they're trying to get some sort of base from the Bible in that. Because I believe the Bible is a reliable book and it's shown to be that. Through prophecy and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But that's not what we're talking about today. We're talking about politics, I assume, yes?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So yeah, you take a stance. Why? But are you open to opposing views?
I am open to listening to them. Yes.
That's good because I think listening is a start, and I'm not saying that the opposing views are necessarily right, but I think it's good to listen. So yeah. The current events, as you said.
Yeah.
Oh my. We live in an atmosphere today that. First of all, I want people to start talking and stop just lining up mindlessly with whatever affiliation they have with whatever political stance that they have, if that makes sense. I want people to start talking more, and I want people to stop just, again, lining up with their political stances. Like whatever, say for example, I support this candidate, right? Mm-hmm. Candidate B, we're going to call him Candidate B. I support Candidate B. And anything that person says and any philosophical underpinnings that come with him, I have to defend and believe and everything else. So in a way, it's kind of like celebrities. A lot of times there's certain celebrities untouchable with their fan base because they can do no wrong. Bernie Sanders can do no wrong. Donald Trump can do no wrong. You have to align with them almost in a cult-like way.
Yeah, I would say like an emotional thing.
Yeah, there's that connection. So, honestly, it's weird because, that's why I am I tend to be center right. You know what I mean? Like I tend to lean to the right in a lot of things but I'm not all-knowing. You know what I mean? I am not going to say that because I have people I work with that are leaning left, to which I have immense respect for, and I can see a lot of times where they're coming from. But at the end of the day, my view is based on what I think is extensive study and based on the Bible.
Right.
So it's, color me, a stereotype Republican, but at the same time, I usually line up with the Republican side.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it really does depend. But with the current estates, as I said, boy, do I rant sometimes. My goodness.
That's okay.
That's what the show is,
Yeah.
So due to the current state of events, I think there's a lot of people, and this is the biggest issue I have with a lot of media. I don't trust it. I'm not just.
Yeah.
I'm
I
talking.
agree with that.
Most media today is just a echo chamber, or just kind of a place to almost, just proclaim the view of whatever side it takes without. It's more of a narrative creator than anything today. That's what I see a lot of news. It's more of a, what's the narrative? How can we report it to fit that narrative? And that's really most stations. I mean, even Fox.
Yeah.
It's hard for us to admit that. But, there's so many stations today. And I tell people this. I hardly ever trust the media. A lot of my news comes from, okay, what is really going on here? Because all often you'll find out that there's something else to the story that you're not seeing. And it has a lot to do with what's being reported. And it's a lot to do with how they want that to be received.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because again, we don't want to offend these people, or we don't want.
Well,
to,
yeah, and it's a business. They're making money off it.
Exactly, and they're being paid by certain groups to do so. But I don't think people understand that. I think that they and again, the internet is not that much better sometimes, but the internet at least has, I think, a little more accountability because there's a comment section, there's things like that. But it's tough, Justin. It really is because. A lot of people ask me, what's your stance on this? Did you know Trump said that? Now, I'm not a huge Trump person because I think he can be a jerk.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of other reasons for it. But I ask people more and more often today than any day, I ask more people often, I'm like, did he really say what you just said that he said, right? Because there's quotes, there's... he's this.
Yeah.
They tend to be the... I think that, in a way, we have... Because we create these narratives, because we stereotype people, because we don't try to actually learn and have conversation, we have pushed a lot of people to a point of anger because we're telling them, you are a certain way, when they're not. We tell people, you are homophobic, when they're not.
Right.
When they just take a certain stance. You tell people that they are they hate Christianity and they're persecuting Christians when they're not. They're simply disagreeing with us.
Mm-hmm.
And then, God's Not Dead. I haven't seen the sequel, but the first movie does paint atheists in a way that seems to be very stereotypical. And if I was a non-believer, I'd be like, hey, I don't exactly act like that. Although... And this is a rabbit trail, although there's been like 50 already. I will say this. There are many movies that do paint Christians in a way that is not, what is Jesus, what Jesus taught. So what were you going to say?
Well, it wasn't like I was going to say with God's Not Dead. The thing, it's a stereotype, but there is some truth to it. With
as there is with anything.
Right.
Right. You could find... Because... I believe that people, their heart is, not to be trusted. So, obviously, I will say, non-believers are not, they're not evil people or anything like that. But I think, I don't want to go on that trail, but I don't think, there are a lot of good, people who don't believe. There's so many of them that, and non-believers, atheists, everything else. They are not all teachers who would, tell you need to disbelieve in God, write it down, in order for you to pass this class. That today would be absolutely unheard of. Now, are there situations where they would openly mock God in the classroom or something?
Oh, I've been to one.
Yeah, it's happened, but you don't have to believe that. That's the beautiful thing of
No.
Now, do our college campuses today, and especially in the secular environment, although Christianity is not untouched by this, are they absolutely? It's oh my, they're pretty bad. They're pretty bad. I mean, you've got the social justice warriors have literally taken over a lot of the public arena, and they have told people what to think and what is acceptable speech.
Right. I was gonna say, like, I don't know. It's an like emotional thing with colleges or something. Like, I've noticed people, like, if it's even like a lot of colleges aren't political, but when it comes to certain people, they just say, "Oh, this is popular, so I'm gonna get all involved in this."
It's not even sometimes politics. It's
even
like,
people.
What is offensive?
Yeah.
What is like, and it's like, I'm not saying I think you should speak truth, but you have to be careful how you say it. And you have to be careful how you approach it. Jesus spoke truth, but he wasn't like necessarily like he wasn't a jerk about it. I mean, he wasn't sinful. I mean, he was mostly against the religious anyway. But I mean, Jesus spoke truth as it was, and so should we. We should speak truth, but we should do it in love. And I think the difference is that a lot of people today don't. They have an opinion, they state it, and then they obviously they make stereotypes. I mean, not all Mexicans are terrible people. That's a terrible.
That's horrible.
Like it's a terrible. My gosh, you know what I mean? Like it's a terrible stereotype, and it shouldn't be. But there are people that do believe that. You know what I mean? So, I think what we're seeing in the current climate, political climate, is that there's sort of a breaking down of what the system was, and now we're seeing a lot more people that are tired of being told what to think, and then you're seeing a lot of people that are just going along with that. So you're seeing a lot of anti-authority stuff going on with Bernie Sanders and Trump, who are outside guys, and then you're seeing, because it was always business as usual, right? There was always like Hillary Clinton in a lot of ways represents business as usual for the Democrat Party. Would you say that? Yeah, I think. I would say that. And then you have a Bernie Sanders who is not. He is the kind of the guy that's like outside of because democratic socialism has the word socialism in it, and I'm not going to go into depth on that, but I'm going to say that freaks out a lot of people. So what do you get? You get people who are like, what? And then but there's a lot of millennials who have not grown up seeing the USSR destroyed. And I don't want to get into that discussion, but
that's a good point though.
But it's like all of a sudden they're like, hey, maybe it's okay, and then you've got the business as usual atmosphere is like freaking out. They're like, what are all these kids that they're ruining, we're gonna hand pick this for
the
Republican Party is going nuts right now because of Trump. I mean, it's just like it's a fascinating atmosphere. It's a fascinating time to be alive because of all this. And if you go deeper and you learn more, it's very interesting. I have a friend who was at a Trump rally, and this is why I encourage people to actually talk, about things. I encourage people to learn because they were at a Trump rally. This person is not what you would say is a Trump supporter. Like, oh, this terrible middle-aged scary man who whatever. So this person is the most normal kind of person you can imagine, and she loves Trump. And she went to a rally, and there were people that actually would scatter throughout the stadium, and they would erupt during random points of the speech that Trump would be giving, and this all of a sudden would be reported as a riot, and they're being taken,
I know what you're talking
and
about,
there's people getting sprayed and everything else. Now, most people would see that on CNN or Fox, and they'd be like, oh, more drama with Trump, the country's going down, whatever. But somebody who went there would actually be able to say, actually, these are just people being really rude.
Oh, yeah.
And, but again, news has to get a story. You have to draw you in, and that's a good story. Not necessarily what the truth is, but, my dad, he was around during the Civil Rights Movement, and he would tell me how they would try to get white kids to fight with black kids, so
Mm-hmm.
that they could tape the fight and
Oh,
say more
yeah.
trouble at this school or whatever. I mean, that's how the media's always been. So my
Yeah.
biggest thing is, you know, everybody talks about the climate right now, and I'm saying, be careful, because it's not necessarily what's being reported might not necessarily be the whole truth.
Right.
And I think most people understand that, but I think it needs to be repeated, and I think that's why I like usually to get my news from different sources online.
Oh yeah, that's always wise.
Because, you know, you're getting more of the story. You're getting good view, and I think people need to expand what they hear. Because for me, ultimately, you know, I should end on this because I've been ranting. Goodness gracious! Thank you for having me with my sunglasses and my
pleasure.
weird hat. You know, but hey, it's red, Republican. All right. So, anyways, yeah. So, you know, the way that I became a stronger believer in Christ was because I was exposed to other ideas. I was in a very liberal environment, and
Just random people.
they're trying to find me. Anyways, so you know, I went to a secular environment, and you know, obviously, push come to shove, I was a bit of a skeptic towards my beliefs for a long time. It wasn't that long actually, a little bit short, but anyways, I became a skeptic, and eventually, you know, I did research and came back around to Christ. But the point is I was challenged, and I had to really reaffirm what I believed and my faith and everything else. And you have to know, like, is this mine? Because a lot of people are very comfortable with a certain view because it gives them a certain amount of comfort,
Right.
allowing them to do a certain thing with their life and continue doing that thing. You know, some people say I don't believe in God because of logic. That's fine. I'm not saying this is everybody that says that, but
Right.
I'm saying a lot of people say that. But I also look at their life and I say, if God didn't exist, or you know, if God existed, would you have to change dramatically your lifestyle?
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes that actions speak louder than words. Some people say, I believe in God, you know, everything else, but they grew up in an environment where, you know, that's all that they knew. You have to challenge yourself. You have to see what other people are saying, and you have to be prepared to know what is truth. Ultimately, I think that is the most important thing. And that's why I was like, is Jesus really what he said he was? Because that means the world, ultimately, if he is who he said he was. And that means everything. So, yeah. Do you have any thoughts? Sorry, I took over your show here, man.
No, that's fine. Not a whole lot.
Yeah. So, state of the political atmosphere. What would you say?
It's
Cray.
it's going a roller coaster up and down.
Yeah, it is.
Which isn't a bad thing because I think they just want to keep it exciting, really.
I mean, like,
that's not a bad
Trump
thing.
gets ratings.
Yeah.
Trump gets ratings. All these guys get ratings. My gosh. You know, and like they're trying to say all these people are so crazy when I'm like, actually, some of them are pretty boring. You know what I mean? Like Ben Carson was not a guy that was going to get you a ton of ratings.
No.
But you know, everybody had us believe that like the debates were these crazy things, and I'm like, not really, for the most part. Yeah, you had Trump, you know, going after people and you know using that. But again, Trump is a salesman, and he is selling a product, and a lot of people are like, but I think, like I said earlier, you have to ask yourself if you're going after a certain person and their supporting base. First of all, I can't stand when people are like, you know, they're saying, oh, you know, if you support this candidate, we can't be friends. Because I'm like, wait a second, why are people pushed to the point where they would support that person? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like, you have to ask yourself, okay, so if people are supporting a guy like Trump, you don't like Trump or what he says, why are these people listening to him? What has pushed them to that point?
Right.
What has gotten them to that point? And I would say they've been told for a long time that they are who they are not. And I think, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they're tired of being told that, and they're against that system that tells them that.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that. I could be wrong. But then again, this is an opinion show. So. Yeah. America. Also, where's Cody at? He's gone for the weekend?
Gone for the weekend.
I guess I'm his temporary. I just got back from, I saw a show on Broadway, and my GPS took me up through this way, and I was like, hey, cool. So I had a little bit of time, figured I'd stop by. I saw the show. I loved it. I also know Justin. So, watch Bible College. DEJAY14. It's my channel. That is just a plug. I don't usually do opinionated things at all online, so that's kind of cool for me to get that chance. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We should do another one sometime.
Right.
We'll talk about feminism or something crazy. I'm kidding.
All
right. Somebody will find me and destroy my life. Feminism. Goodness gracious.
All right, guys. This is our video. Please subscribe. See ya.
Oh, that looks so vain. Wow.